I have a little report here. It's going to consist of 8 clips.
A little report?
And it starts with sports.
Okay.
And this is a corruption report, Dvorak's corruption report on the university system in the United States.
We need a jingle for this.
Well,
I have corruption.
There's no corruption
What
thing.
clip
there's
are you calling?
Soccer part 3, but let's start with soccer. Soccer corruption. The first clip, soccer corruption.
Use. A young baseball player throwing too many pitches, for example, or a girl playing too much soccer on still developing knees. It's happening all across the country, but we found a striking microcosm of the problem in the patients and staff at one clinic in Northern California. Pediatric orthopedic surgeon Nirav Pandya is scrubbing in for his Tuesday morning operations at Oakland Children's Hospital's clinic in Walnut Creek, California. So 3 or 4 ACLs today?
3 ACLs today.
3 ACLs. Is this a typical day?
It's a pretty standard day for me. Kind of from week to week, I'll be 2 to 3 ACLs, a bunch of different sports injuries, so very, very typical.
All 3 of today's operations are on young soccer players with torn anterior cruciate ligaments.
Young soccer players. Onward, soccer corruption 2.
Okay.
Many kids can and do come back and compete aggressively after ACL surgery.
I'm going to straighten it out.
But some also develop osteoarthritis in as little as 10 years, and that can put them out of athletic action for life.
Okay, where's the corruption bit?
When it's over, you'll see the corruption. Let's go to corrupt soccer part 3.
For 400 teams who paid nearly $400,000 in entry fees alone. Many of the girls on these fields and their parents share the same dream.
These girls want to play college. You worked your tail off to get into these showcases because those are where the coaches are for Pac-12 or your Big Ten.
Those showcases are tournaments which college coaches attend to assess young talent. Injuries have caused Jessica to miss several showcases where she was hoping to be offered a scholarship. Her mom says without one, she won't be able to afford college.
Won't be able to afford college, so these kids are out there crippling themselves.
Yes, to get into college. Sure, but
get into college, and of course these are women because they can't afford college, and nobody can nowadays because the universities have decided to jack up all the prices, largely because of the student loan fiasco. And in the meantime, of course, these colleges, which are bringing in probably more money than ever. I just have this little side clip here, which is a Lick Observatory clip. Play that.
Hold on a sec. Oh, Lick. Yes. Got it.
Activists are claiming victory in keeping Lick Observatory open on Cal's campus. They say the UC system wanted to gradually cut funding off for the observatory, so the activists responded with a petition drive. They say at the end of October, the UC system relented, and Lick will keep its funding for another 5 years. Those who use the observatory say it's an invaluable resource.
This is an invaluable resource for graduate students and postdoctoral scholars. It was the only place where astronomy students could actually practice their science.
The activists already have their next battle in sight. They plan to try to block the UC system from going through with its proposed tuition hike.
Okay, so now they want to raise the tuition again.
Why not?
Well, that's the point. Why not? Because when you have going to clip number student loan.
Of course. There it is. Okay.
Student loan.
Okay.
First clip.
Well, there's about $1 trillion worth of federal student loan debt floating around in America.
So that's just a million, thousand million, isn't it?
$1 trillion. And for some, it never goes away. Julie Watts on the Fed's plan to collect, whether you have the money or not.
Best case scenario, how long do you think it'll take you to pay off your student loans?
Best case scenario is 3 years with a great job.
1.5 years, maybe 3 to 5 years.
Right. When it comes to paying off student loans, most college students are hoping for the best case scenario. But Eileen Joyce might be dealing with the worst.
I filled out the paperwork for hardship.
Decades ago, she took out a federal student loan to attend graduate school, but couldn't pay it back because of a disability.
I had no money just even for survival.
So the government recently started taking it back.
Okay, can I guess where you're going with this? Can I take a stab at it?
Go ahead.
First of all, $1 trillion, is that a million?
It's a lot.
It's a million.
Yeah, it's a million billion.
A million
billion. Sorry.
No, it's 1,000 billion.
1,000 billion.
1,000
billion.
Which is 1,000 millions.
Yes.
So I think where you're going is you get these kids as young as you can, and they're killing themselves. And of course, it's like it's almost like that. What's that movie where they from the books where the kids are all trying to kill each other and to survive?
Yeah, the Hunger Games.
Hunger Games, right? So it's kind of like a Hunger Games of soccer to get your scholarship, which is never full, of course. And then you
you still cost you too much money to go to school.
You get the student loan, and then you flow right into the minor leagues where they are going to collude with the government to enslave you as a player.
Well, you're essentially enslaved by this whole. Yeah. This is our own government
enslaving
with student loans. And if you remember Eisenhower's speech about the military-industrial complex, and we've talked about this on the show before, was supposed to be
industrial. The military-industrial academic complex. You're right. And that was actually in his written speech, but he dropped that.
They crossed it out because it was too much for the public to absorb.
Right.
Now, this is what's going on. So our own government is doing this to the students. Let's play the rest of these student loan clips. They're pretty short. Play number student loans part 2.
Deducting $100 a month from her Social Security check.
I thought I had a protected income.
Unlike other forms of debt, federal student loans aren't forgiven, even after bankruptcy.
The debt can be collected on forever.
Mari Castaldi of the East Bay Community Law Center says it's a scenario more and more seniors are now facing.
The government doesn't have to sue you to come after your assets. They can just swoop in and kind of start garnishing wages or Social Security benefits.
And in many cases, it's not until people file for Social Security that the government is actually able to track them down.
And I might want to mention here.
Wait a minute. The government is tracking you down. We're here to collect.
And they collect with the point of a gun.
You know what else they do?
This is why you cannot have offshore banking accounts.
Right.
Because the government cannot go into those accounts and just take your money like they can with all domestic banking accounts.
I've had that happen to me.
It happened to me.
I remember I was at MTV, and I don't remember what it was for. It was some oversight or something, like a check had gotten lost. It was like a payment to the IRS. But I remember this is early days of ATMs, and the ATM was in the bank there in New Jersey, and I'm trying to get out, and it's not working. I walk inside, and they say, "Oh, this is very strange. Oh, your money's been transferred to this account with all numbers 9. This is very strange. Let me see what's going on." And they'd just taken all my money out. They had transferred it. And I called the IRS. And this is about 1989 or a long time ago. And I said, well, what is this? Well, there's a payment. I said, hold on a second. Just call me, whatever. He said, no, well, we got your attention, didn't we? That was the answer I got.
Yeah, that would be their answer.
We got your attention? Wow. Okay, so this is pure enslavement.
Yeah, and let's go to part 3, and then I can start to wrap.
In the past year, over 140,000 delinquent student loan borrowers have had their Social Security garnished, triple the number a decade ago. And Castaldi says, making matters worse, the government is now using private collection agents who get paid on commission to go after the debt.
These private debt collectors don't tell them about the options.
For example, people with low incomes should be able to make payments as little as $5 to $10 a month, an option Eileen wishes she would have known about decades ago.
Wow. So here's the situation that we have, and it's intolerable. And the colluders, of course, are the universities that create the environment for this. They have pretty much given up on, working with the state government and spending money wisely. The University of California, which wanted to shut down Lick Observatory, a very nice facility, has been building like crazy. There's so many new buildings. I don't think if you look at the University of California today and compare it to, and the increase in students from 30,000 to 44,000, which gives it mostly Chinese, from overseas, so they can just make as much money. It's become a money-making operation. And the way it all ends up, and you have to play this clip without interrupting it, is the way it all ends up, the way we all end up at the end of the day is this clip. This is the weather girl and the anchor woman on KSBW just chit-chatting and showing you at the level of professionalism that we have in some of these stations around here. This is when girls take over the newsroom.
Chances for precipitation. So that means equal chances for rain, equal chances for a dry weather, and equal chances for just about in between. And we have a weak El Nino expected coming in the next 1 to 2 months. So we are rooting for that. Let's take a look at our KSBW weather kid of the morning. This is from Carson. He's a kindergartner at King City Arts Magnet School. And he said, this is my family and I at the beach with sun, clouds, and rain. It looks like he's got that forecast nailed. And they look very tan in this picture.
Wow, Carson did a good job, I guess. We got rain yesterday and today.
And a little bit today. I think it's pink raindrops. I like that.
I love that. Oh, yeah. I wish the rain was pink.
Yes, me too. And tasted like cotton candy.
Oh, yes. Wouldn't that be great? Yeah. Well, it is beautiful out there. Even though it's rainy, I'm excited to go outside.
We've needed the rain.
Hold on one second, John.
And there you have it.
I just had to shoot myself.
And there you have it.
Oh, my
Welcome
God.
to America.
Wow. I know what I know what you're thinking right now. People at home are going, "Is he going to do it?" Absolutely, totally deserved. Clip of the day. But also because it's in combination with your
in tasting like cotton candy
in your deconstruction of the slavery through sports, which is nothing really new, except now it's girls, which I think is interesting.
Well, there's a lot of this has to do with Title IX, Title VII. Once the universities or the courts try, what was going on in the universities is that all the big football teams and basketball teams were getting all the scholarships, and girls' sports weren't getting anything. Female sports, women's sports, and so there was a number of lawsuits about this, and so they decided with the I guess it was the Supreme Court or the Civil Rights Act, they put this in play that you can't give the football team millions of dollars,
right,
without giving the women's sports millions of dollars. So they made it so they have to do that.
Yeah.
And so the women soccer girls get as much as the football players. Although if they privatize the football sport and just let them make the money, and they sell out these stadiums. I was watching a game over the weekend, 102,000 people in the stadium.
I know.
There's plenty of money to be made. There's 102,000 people watching a football game. There's like maybe 25 or 30 people watching women's soccer, but they have the same they get the same scholarships. So it's dumb.
Yeah, it's not even good slavery.
It's just stupid. But that's the way it is, and that's what they have to do. But right now, with the tuitions and the student loans, the whole thing's a massive scam, and it makes me wonder about Peter Thiel, the crazy guy.
If maybe he's on the right track with his...
he may be actually thinking along these lines all along, because he's extremely skeptical. He's really a libertarian. He'd be a perfect listener to our show, although he'd probably think we don't go far enough. But there is a lot to be said for this scam.
Well, we certainly could use some
society.
We certainly could use some of that Peter Thiel mad money. I wouldn't have a problem with that. That would be very nice.
We have our own people that do fine.
Yeah.